Hi everybody, it's Naima here at Nightmare Weekend with Galaxy of Film, and I'm here with none other than Kristy Swanson.
Hello.
The OG Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as we all know. And obviously, I want to get to that in just a bit, but first and foremost, I wanted to ask, as an actor to an actor, what preparations did you have to take kind of to get ready for a film such as Flowers in the Attic?
Oh, Flowers in the Attic.
Yeah.
That was a tough one because, I mean, it's a heavy story.
Yes.
You know, it's what preparation did I take?
Did you read the book beforehand at all?
I did not read the book.
Really?
I started to, and then I was like, I don't know. I just had this thing where I've seen so many movies or books turn into movies, and then you hear people criticize the movie because they like the book better or whatever. And that's normal because when you're reading a book, it's your own imagination going into it, and you kind of create the story yourself when you're reading a book. So when you see a movie of a book, that's the director, the production's interpretation of it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why there's a little conflict there sometimes. Yeah. So I decided I'm not going to read the book. I'm just going to stick to the script. It's basically the same story. We just couldn't do all of the story in, an hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever. So, how did I prep? I don't remember. God, it was like 1986. It was so long ago.
Movie. And I'm like, for such, you were so young in that movie as well.
Yeah, I was 16.
Yeah, how do you prep yourself to just be so vulnerable like that, to get into a mindset of something so dark, so deep?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not a method actor, that's for sure. I've never been that way. I'm a big believer in not bringing my work home with me.
I respect that.
I think it's best for your mental health, and to sort of like cut, if you're doing something heavy like that, that's, such an abusive story and so dark. I don't know. My biggest challenge is not so much performance.
Yes.
It's performance for me is like getting into the character, getting in my belly and portraying it. Like that I'm cool with. My hardest thing has always been memorization. That's always been my hardest thing because I'm dyslexic, and nobody ever knew that. I always hid it, but now I'm out about it. But I was always afraid I would never get hired if people knew that I couldn't read very well and that I switch words around. So that was always my hardest thing was memorization. And the way I got through that was, this was before we had phones and technology and everything. I had like a cassette tape with a little like machine, and I would record all the lines in the scene, mine and the other person's, and then I'd press play and their line would come out. I'd press stop, I'd say my line, press play, see if I got it right. Do you know what I mean? Like I did it back and forth, back and forth. That's how I did. That was my little trick.
That's actually really.
That was my survival trick. So
I
to learn my lines.
Have such different techniques on what they use, and that's really fascinating. And I didn't mean to throw you in such a curveball.
No, everybody has their own process as actors. I always respect everybody's.
Everyone's craft. And going back to Buffy now, I wanted to kind of hit a little hard first, and then kind of reel it back in with Buffy, but. From what I understand, is Buffy was actually supposed to be a bit different than what eventually came out.
Really?
From what I read and kind of a little bit of research is
I've heard these rumors.
Heard them.
I have heard these rumors.
From reading the script, I'm assuming, and then seeing the movie, I guess since
it pretty much plays the same.
It plays the same.
I think so.
Okay, so the rumors are false. It is the same. Okay.
Well, I mean, I think that maybe Joss was the writer, the creator. I think he wrote the actual title before he actually wrote the story.
Oh, okay.
I think he came out with the title first and then wrote the script. Super fun script, super great story, and he was a young writer, and like he couldn't direct it, or he was part of the production. But I think while it was being made, like he was kind of like getting into his own brain about how he would like it to be, which was great. And having him on the set every day was awesome. I loved having him there, especially if he had line problems and we had to change some stuff. But it's like 7 years later after the movie, he was able to make this TV series and have it be his vision. Do you know what I mean? And so if that's what his vision was, that's great. But I also like the one we did because it was just, it's a vampire movie, but it's kind of campy and funny. And it's got comedy, but it's also got some heart and you know, coming of age sort of love story. You know what I mean?
Original. It's what started it all. I mean, as Buffy, is it surreal for people to come up to you and be like, "You're Buffy the Vampire Slayer," or has it kind of over the years you've gotten used to it at this point?
Well, I have to say this, like I was 22 when I did that movie. I'm going to be 55. So
You
when
don't
I
look a day
when
over
I get
30.
recognized as Buffy today, I take that as a big compliment. I'm like, yay, thank you. Because then I don't, you know, then I don't feel like I'm aging too much, you know.
You are stunning. You are so
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank
oh my
you.
God. And my final question, which wasn't supposed to be a question, but I overheard you talking about a documentary coming out. Are you able to tell us anything about it?
Yes, I did an interview in a documentary. It's about Luke Perry.
Yes. Oh.
And Jason Priestley is one of the producers of it, and many people from his life, from his career, from, you know, actors and musicians, everybody that knew him is part of it. And I'm guessing it's going to be out in the spring. And I did the interview like a month ago or 2 months ago, and that was really hard to do. Like I was sobbing the entire time, but it was cathartic. It was a good release to be able to talk about him and all the wonderful stories about him. So
We all love Luke Perry. May he
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Yes.
It's a very sad tragedy.
I know.
I'm
So
glad you've got to know him, and
Yeah.
the documentary is coming out.
he's a great friend. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in and our matching overall.
Yes, we are It's overall day.
It's been an honor.
Thank
truly
you.
To talk to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So taking it back to Buffy for a second, Paul Reubens, unfortunately we lost him a couple of years ago. A lot of people, of course, know him from Pee Wee Herman and going forward with that of all of our childhoods. However, he is in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, of course, and he has a hilarious and incredible death. I'm curious, do you know, like, or remember how many times it took to film that, or what your reaction was on set for that?
That was the best scene of the movie. I mean, he stole the show. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I cannot remember how many takes we did because it was so long ago, and it's not something that I counted at the time, you know. But none of us knew what he was gonna do.
No.
And so when we were rehearsing, because the camera guys want to see what the blocking's gonna be, you know, I stabbed him, and then he started doing this death, and it went on and on and on and on forever, and the crew just like literally lost it. They were laughing so hard. I couldn't keep a straight face, like, you know. And if you really watch the movie, like, you can see my face is like kind of twitching a little, like I'm trying not to laugh, you know. So I tried to hold a straight face the best I could. I felt like I was on the Carol Burnett show, you know, like
That's awesome.
not being able to keep a straight face. So he was lovely. He was a great friend. We stayed very close over the years. He always called me on my birthday, always wished me a Merry Christmas.
So sweet.
Every once in a while on April Fool's Day, he would get me, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he'd always get me with something. So he was just a good friend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys had that connection after the film too. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is.
He was a good guy.
That's awesome.